So earlier today I put a poll up on my Instagram story asking you guys if you wanted to see more videos about the bumper, just back to back to back, or if you guys wanted me to mix it up and install the racing seats, because as some of you guys know, I do have a set of bucket seats for the Mustang. And to my surprise, the overwhelming majority of people wanted to just see another video about the bumpers. So of course, today's video is no exception. We're just gonna keep working on the bumper. The main reason I asked is just because I don't want things to get too repetitive. And some of you guys did express to me that you did want to see the racing seats go in. So the next video that I upload will be about installing the racing seats, because I've just been putting that off for way too long. And I have kind of a funny story to go along with it. But today's video, of course, we're just focusing on the bumper. I'm gonna try to get it further along. As I explained in the last video, it's kind of hard to tell like how long things are going to take, because there might be something that I think would take 20 minutes and then it ends up taking an hour, and then of course vice versa. There might be something that I think will take hours and it actually only takes like 5 to 10 minutes. So we're going to continue forward. I think today I'm going to start mocking up the sides, because most of what I've done has been on the back side or on the tail lights. So we're going to start working on the sides and maybe on the middle section too. Sorry, I'm looking down. I have the bumper right in front of me. You guys can't see it yet. We're going to go ahead, jump in, and make some progress today. So there was a comment thread on the last video saying that you guys think I should take the taillights out, and the reason why I haven't taken them out yet is because I was working on getting this gap in between the bracket and the taillight set, and of course, I mean, I need the taillight in there to figure out how thick that part needs to be. But now, I don't actually think that that is my problem. I think that this top layer is just a little bit too thick and it's not fitting into the bracket properly. I went round and round with this the other night just trying to figure out why I couldn't get that side to set in, and this side is pretty good, but it's still not just, focus for me. Yeah, here we go. As you can see, there's still a lip. It's still not set in quite how I want it. So I am gonna go ahead and pull the taillights out, because I think it might help just a little bit in the overall process of trying to get these to fit onto those brackets. But I just wanted to go ahead and explain that briefly, because there was a reason why I was leaving the taillights in, because my next step was gonna be to take them out, but I just wanted to get those panel gaps on the sides just right. Alright, so now that I've got the taillights out, I can kind of see this bracket in here a little bit better. I'm not sure if it's really going to benefit me that much being on the inside, but it's kind of nice to just have them out of the way anyway. One thing I did notice just a minute ago is on this side, there's a tab inside of the bumper right here. And if you look, you can see that it's kind of rubbing against the chassis right there. So I'm thinking I might actually just like cut this off. Maybe not the whole thing, but I might just use the Dremel and kind of like shave it down, so that way I just know for a fact that that's not holding it back. It looks like maybe just rubbed a little bit and then it stopped, because I have gotten it further than this point, but I do want to trim that down, because I looked at the other side and the other side's little fiberglass tab right here isn't as big. And that's another thing that bothers me about this bumper is like symmetrically, like if you're looking at it, it's pretty good. Like it's symmetrical, but then all the little tabs are like different on both sides, and all the small details that you would need to be symmetrical for cases like this, it just doesn't matter, not to Duraflex. So that's really frustrating to see. So I'm gonna trim that down, but then also when I was trying to fit this on here, it's getting pinched like this is just way too close, so I'm gonna have to sand the top of this down a little bit. But what I noticed is that at the angle that it wants to go in, this bumper is like angling up too much. I need it to be kind of down like this, so that way these tabs will be able to slide into that bracket. And of course, when it's at that angle, it's even worse. So it seems like there's a little pivot point right up here. I guess there's like a high spot or something. I'm not entirely sure. But on this side, it's not nearly as bad. On this side, it's just like as soon as you wedge it in, things just are lining up a lot better. It might be leaning up just a little bit, so I might need to sand some of this off, but you can tell like that gap is a lot larger on this side. So I think that other side is a little bit, little too high. So I'm gonna sand that down and then see if I can get that side to look like this. That side, of course, is just like the theme of this entire series so far, is that the driver's side just sucks. They did a really bad job of molding this thing, so we're gonna put some work in over here. so after a lot of cutting, sanding, screaming, crying, I've actually gotten this side to fit a little bit better. So it's still not quite perfect, but I mean, that's way better than it was before. Of course, this is revealing more problems, like the shape of this is just terrible, and I'm gonna have to just recreate that. Both sides are kind of at a point where I'm happy with it, because before I continue to work things out with these and make them fit perfectly, I actually think I want to get the middle part set in place. But before I do this, the whole back side of the car is like, you know, it's making progress, but the sides are just like, this is just a disaster. So basically the stock bumper has these little tabs that fit in between the quarter panel and this like clip thing or bracket or whatever you want to call it. It runs all along the side here. So problem I'm running into is the stock bumper can flex a little bit, so you can kind of squeeze these tabs into it, whereas the fiberglass just, it barely bends at all. It's not very malleable in that sense. Like, if you can get one part of it to fit, then the rest of it is not at the right angle. Like, you can see it warping a little bit there, and there's just so much tension in the fiberglass that I don't really want to, like, it's a little bit hard to explain, but I just don't want this to break, and tension over time will just cause this thing to crack, and I would hate for there to just be like a huge stress crack down the side of the bumper or something like that. So what I've decided to do is I'm actually gonna cut these out. So hear me out. This little tab right here will fit in nicely. Like, I've bent it just enough to get it, like, yeah, see, this will fit under there. But if this fits, then these are at a bad angle and they won't fit. So I'm thinking I'm gonna cut these 3 blobs of fiberglass out of here, and then with this fully in place, it'll just kind of naturally hold the bumper in the position that I want it to be in. And then of course, if it doesn't fit quite right, I can sand it, I can add some material, I can take a little bit of material away, and worst case scenario, I could probably figure out some way to hold this intersection in without using the tabs up here. I also thought about modifying the bracket, but if I modify the bracket, then I won't be able to put the stock bumper back on should I want to at any point. So I'm thinking the best bet is gonna be to just cut these off and then work with just this little edge tab right here. And if I decided that I needed to have those tabs on there, I would just, like, I was gonna have to remold these anyway to make them fit. So I'd probably just recreate some new types of tabs to put on there or something. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these off on both sides and then see if we can't get the sides to kind of fit nicely. Oh my gosh, that worked so well. I mean, this still needs a little bit of sanding and body work to make the body line look a little better, but like, damn. Yeah, we'll work on it. And driver's side, let's see if we can get this to, oh great. Oh, there we go. Okay, so of course, since the driver's side doesn't like me that much, this side's not gonna cooperate as well. But you know what? This body line right here, ooh, that lines up so good. I wish I could show this angle on camera. That's like almost perfect. It needs to come in just a little bit, but once I get these, the ones that actually have the tabs, once I sand these tabs a little bit and make them fit the brackets a little bit better, oh, it's gonna look so good. Yes! Oh, I love when things just work and they stop fighting sometimes. So I was thinking about reusing the factory studs from the stock bumper and just putting them on the new bumper, but I just decided that since so many things are changing, I might as well just go and pick up some new hardware and just make new hardware entirely for the new bumper. So Colby is driving me to the store. Shout out to Colby.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
If you guys are new to the channel, this is my roommate.
Hi guys.
He'll be around. For those of you that don't know, at least in my town, I don't know about you guys, but Wilco is like the go-to place for hardware. I'll show you what I mean. bet y'all ain't never seen a YouTuber make an edit at the hardware section in Wilco. We got in there and I was like, I should just do something cinematic. I'm re-recording the end of this video right now because originally I was gonna go ahead and put this hardware on the bumper, but something came up that I need to go and do tomorrow. So instead of continuing this process tomorrow morning, I'm actually gonna get the car kind of put back together. But that actually works out perfectly that I need to drive somewhere because it's gonna be the perfect setup for me to film like a before and after bucket seats thing with the racing seats. So everything's kind of working out, but I wanna go ahead and quickly show you guys what I plan to do with this hardware that I bought. So of course the bumper has these tabs right here. On the stock bumper, there's like a bracket that goes through and you can see the studs stick through right there. So I bought these longer bolts. I made sure that they're the same exact size and everything because I'm going to use the stock nuts to hold it inside the trunk. But what I plan on doing is I'm going to measure where I need to drill holes in these, and then I'm actually going to like fiberglass this on the inside. So I'll stick it through the bumper like this, and then I'll put a patch of fiberglass on the back so that way these will be hard mounted to the bumper, I guess. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I might not do that. Maybe I'll just have them be removable. Although I don't want, like, if there were a nut to loosen, I wouldn't want this to just fall out. So maybe I'll fiberglass it, or maybe I'll just get some locking nuts. Not entirely sure. Now I'm questioning myself. But for right now, the plan is to fiberglass this on here so it's permanent. And then that way I'll have some studs. These are actually a little bit longer. Yeah, so they'll stick out a little bit more, but that's fine because I kind of don't like how far these are in. They're kind of hard to get to. So this will actually work out perfectly. And if they're too long, I can trim them. And then moving on to the side, there's some tabs right here that actually line up really well with the stock holes. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use these pieces of hardware, these little bolts, because they're flat. So what'll happen is when I screw this in, it'll set in nicely into the fiberglass, and that way I won't have like a bolt head sticking out inside my wheel well, and it won't risk damaging my tire or something like that. But I just have some lock washers and nuts that are gonna go in the back of these, so I'll just drill some holes, thread these through, and that'll hold the sides in and keep this tab from like popping out. My main thing with this, since I cut off all these extra tabs, is like this one's gonna have to stay in, so once it's sanded down and fits in nicely, these bolts on the side are gonna be what holds that in place. And I actually got 3 of these for each side, so I'm gonna add an extra hole because I got rid of these tabs. So the plan is put one up here, and then probably put one in the middle, and then one down here. Or I might put one further down. Not entirely sure yet. We'll do some measuring and figure out the most ideal spot to put the hardware. But that's the game plan for the next video about the bumper. I love getting questions from you guys, especially on Instagram, which, by the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you go and follow me over there because I post a lot of cool stuff. You don't want to miss out. But I love getting questions because you guys kind of keep me on track and make sure that I'm still progressing, because a lot of times with this stuff, I just get so like lost in one thing, or I get so sucked into something and I just kind of forget to like buy parts or order things, or just kind of lose sight of where I'm going. And that's been kind of a struggle for me recently, has just been like, keep the ball rolling. I reach a point where I'm just like, I don't really know what to do. I feel like I'm not making progress because it's just, I'm branching into territory that is similar to the GT350 front bumper, where it was just like, no one's done this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. All I could see of that bumper were just pictures and renders of what it looked like on cars, and it was always just so nerve-wracking. I was like, I guess I can drill holes here, but I don't know. But today's video, I really felt as though I kind of overcame that a little bit, and I just kind of made progress happen. Just like, don't worry about the big picture. Just try to do what you can and just make it happen. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the GT350 rear bumper videos so far. I've been enjoying making them. It's coming along well, which is good, because I was really worried that if I started cutting stuff, it was just going to end up being even more work for myself to do in the long run. Some of you guys that know me a little bit better than others will know that I didn't have any decorations on my walls in my room. That's like one of my things. I just kind of like clean walls. I don't really have a need for decorations, but I got this cool Porsche flag, and I was gonna put it in the garage, but since I was doing so much fiberglass work, I didn't want it to get all gross with all the dust and everything, so it's hanging up in here for right now. I kind of like it, but I don't know. I still think I should put it in the garage. I feel like it would be better for the backgrounds of these videos and not just the outros where I'm just sitting on my bed saying goodbye. But on that bombshell, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. It really helps out the channel when you guys do that. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, because I've been posting a lot of content. I've got a lot more stuff coming with the GT350 bumpers and all that stuff. I wonder how many times I say GT350 in like one video. It's ridiculous. Every time I say it, I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and dream big.